In the year 1838, the town of Wisburg, Germany, is expecting a new resident. Estate agent Thomas Hutter is tasked with traveling to Transylvania to sign over the deed to the mysterious Count Orlok. Meanwhile, Hutter's wife Helen is plagued with horrible nightmares, featuring a terrifying figure. These are not coincidences, as this town in Germany is soon to come face to face with the embodiment of death itself. This is Nosferatu. Nosferatu is a... Why is this happening? Nosferatu is a new film by director Robert Eggers, and is a remake of the 1923 film Nosferatu, A Symphony of Horrors. That's a silent movie, by the way. How did I not know that? Now, I'll be completely candid here and say I am far from the biggest horror fan on the planet. I just can't really get into the jump scares like some people do. But when I find a horror movie I really like, I really like them. And Robert Eggers' Nosferatu is definitely a really like one. Nosferatu fucks, and I mean that in multiple ways. This is truly a once-in-a-lifetime gothic horror film, and Robert Eggers knocks it out of the frickin' park. It's a creepy-as-hell film, but also beautifully shot, and has some fantastic performances all throughout it. It genuinely surprised me by just how much I liked this movie. Now, there are so many great performances in this film, it's honestly hard to find a place to start. Nicholas Hoult, Lily Rose Depp, Aaron Taylor-Johnson, Emma Corrin, and especially Willem Dafoe are all phenomenal. They nailed the 1800s Victoria-era dialect, elevating the film to something we just don't get today. Willem Dafoe is definitely among the standouts of the film, if you ask me. I was quite disappointed he wasn't in Robert Eggers' last film, The Northman, that much. But he is a prominent character in this film, which made up for it a whole lot. But of course, there is the main man himself, Bill Skarsgard, as Count Orlok, the film's Nosferatu. Because fun fact, Nosferatu isn't actually his name, that's just the Romanian word for vampire. But it is a pretty sick name. Let me just say, if you went into this movie expecting a vampiric Pennywise, you would be sorely mistaken. He may only be acting within the shadows for most of this film's runtime, but Bill Skarsgard's amazing performance has you feeling his presence the entirety of the film. This is just such an extremely creepy and haunting performance. It's so good. Even if there was one design choice with this version of Count Orlok where I'm thinking, it's interesting, but I respect it. On the subject of the cast of the film, it was really fun to have to explain to my dad where he's seen each cast member from in Marvel terms. Well, Nicholas Hoult, he played Beast in the X-Men movies, and Aaron Taylor-Johnson, he played Quicksilver in Age of Ultron, and most recently, Kraven the Hunter. And Emma Corrin, you might recognize her more if she was bald, because she was Cassandra Nova in Deadpool and Wolverine earlier this year. And of course, Willem Dafoe, he played the Green Goblin. Who doesn't know that? And Bill Skarsgård, while he hasn't had a big comic book role yet, he has been in Deadpool 2 and The Eternals. And come to think of it, Ralph Ineson is also going to be in a Marvel movie. He has a pretty big role coming up, if you catch my drift. Hey, I'm not a nerd because I cared about high art. Now, Robert Eggers manages to make one of the most bone-chilling movies I've seen in quite a long time. I normally hate long, drawn-out scenes that are just there to build tension, but only end up having fake payoff. But what if the entirety of the film is full of those long, drawn-out tension scenes, but the payoff is there and they just get better? That's this movie. It's even better when it doesn't end in a cheap jump scare. This film definitely has its fair share of jump scares, but I saw them coming more times than not throughout this film. So I don't really qualify that as cheap, I guess. Cheap jump scares are there to just jingle the keys in front of you because, you know, the Smile movies suck. Sorry, did I go off on a tangent there? But this is good and effective horror, and I was really into it. The cinematography of this film is also top-notch. Almost every single frame of the film looks like something straight out of a Victorian-era painting. And I thought Longlegs did such a great job at making me feel cold just by being so immersed into the movie. I may have to chalk this one up to this one actually being released in December, but who the hell knows? This is still a morbidly beautiful film in that regard, and I quite liked that too. Unlike another Bill Skarsgard movie from this year, the Crow remake, where that was like laughably edgy. The average Hot Topic shopper wouldn't eat this movie up. At the beginning of the video, when I said Nosferatu fucks, I mean that in multiple ways, if you can believe it. Not only it being the fact that the movie is quite good, it also is because the movie is also quite horny. This definitely continues the trend of vampires being one of the most horny things in all of fiction. And hey, I can't be too mad at it. A little suck and fuck does come with the territory. That wasn't really a criticism of the film, just something I feel like I should point out. Because hey, there's no kink shaming here. When a huge horror novice like me comes around to praise your film, you know you did something right. And Robert Eggers definitely cooked here. This felt like a classic Universal monster movie with all the modern filmmaking flair, and it is awesome. This isn't like the Dark Universe where Universal wanted to take these monsters and turn them into superheroes, I guess. Iconic flop on Universal's part, by the way. It's the closest thing we've ever gotten to a true Monster Mash movie in a long time. And I was just so impressed with the film. A phenomenal cast, a great story, top of the line cinematography, and it's scary, but it's effective scary. I was quite a big fan of this one. What does it say about me that my two favorite horror films of this year are very cat-positive movies? That I really just hate the first Smile movie? If you didn't see it behind me already, I have the bucket. 2024 definitely was the year of the popcorn bucket, because look at all those ones behind me. They definitely stepped up their game when making cool movie theater merchandise. And this one is no exception. I think this one is so neat, mainly because it just doesn't look like a popcorn bucket until you have to explain that popcorn goes in here. It's even got rats on the inside. Look at that. It's ratatouille. It's ratatouille. I hope you all enjoyed this review. Okay, who in the hell is flickering the lights? Nosferatu. Well, now that that's cleared up, I hope you all enjoyed this review. And this review will be the last review of 2024 movies. Yes, I completely acknowledge that there weren't that many reviews this year, and there were tons of movies that I didn't review, and hell, some that I didn't even get to see, mainly because of just how bad I was feeling at so many different points of the year. And to make matters worse there, I'm having surgery on January 3rd. Kick off the new year right, why don't I? But either way, I hope you all enjoyed this review. And if you did, please consider hitting that like button, and if you want to see more, hit that subscribe button and ring that bell to be notified when my next review drops. Until next time, I'm Quint Dunaway, hoping you will keep it cinematic and have a happy new year.